In this video, we are going to go over the real reasons why people are moving to the great state of Texas. There are many reasons why people love the state, and it is becoming the most popular state to live in, second to California. At some point, I do believe that population is going to shift and Texas will take the #1 spot, but it is currently in spot #2 as far as the most populous state. In fact, during the pandemic, we saw that California lost quite a few residents while there continues to be over 1,000 people a day moving to Texas. And here's why. One of the big reasons why people are moving to Texas and why it is becoming so popular is because of its economic and job opportunities. So because Texas has a lot of thriving industries, it is known for its very strong economy, especially when you look at the Texas Triangle. So the Texas Triangle is going to be Dallas and Fort Worth, Houston, Austin, and San Antonio. And if you look at those on a map, you could form a triangle. So that's known as the Texas Triangle. So those places are thriving. Those places are where a lot of people are moving to. You do have some people moving to West Texas, but West Texas, I know someone said in a comment on one of my other videos that West Texas always gets left out. And I feel so bad about that. Unfortunately, West Texas does get left out often, and that's because most of the opportunity happens to be in the big metropolitan cities. We are seeing, however, people moving to East Texas, kind of around the Tyler, Texas area. It's just a lot slower paced life living there. The landscape is absolutely beautiful with the pine trees. It starts to get a little hilly. It's so beautiful out there in East Texas. So we are seeing that, but that's mainly people who already live probably in the metropolitan areas and they're moving to places like Tyler. But yeah, those 1,100 people a day plus are moving mainly to your big metropolitan cities. So some of the economic opportunities that Texas has to offer are just the amount of corporations that are here, the amount of Fortune 500 companies that are here, and how many people they employ. All the people that they employ obviously are not in Texas, but these are companies that employ tens of thousands of people. You've got Dell Computers, which is a very great place to work. They employ over 158,000 people. Amazon, which we know Amazon is obviously a worldwide international brand. Amazon is here. Toyota's headquarters, they're in Texas as well. Apple, that's down in Austin, Texas. Goldman Sachs just broke ground here in Dallas, where I am in North Dallas. It just broke ground in Dallas on a campus, an 80,000 square foot campus, and that will employ over 5,000 people. AT&T headquarters, that's also in Dallas. AT&T employs over 230,000 people. Y'all, that is crazy. That's a lot of people. When you think about the companies that I'm naming and how many people they employ, it adds up to a huge number of the working population here in America. You've got Hewlett Packard, Cisco headquarters, D.R. Horton, which is a huge builder here in Texas for sure, but not just Texas. D.R. Horton headquarters are here as well. You got Peterbilt, which the amount of trucks that they put out a day is so astounding. They're headquartered in Denton, Texas, and so they employ a lot of people as well. By the way, if you're ever in the North Texas area, anywhere near Denton, if there's any way, if you're here for a while, if you could get a tour of the Peterbilt plant, it is phenomenal. It is so cool to watch these trucks literally being built before your eyes, and how many they put out a day would completely surprise you. And I have a new appreciation for truckers. I completely have a huge appreciation for truckers. Ever since the pandemic, people ordering more and more and more and more online. It has to get to your house somehow. And one of those ways is it's got to get off of a boat somewhere, more than likely. If it wasn't made here in America, it's got to come off the crates onto a plane, into a truck, and then to your house. So anyway, if you don't appreciate truck drivers, you really need to rethink that, because I have a huge mad respect for them and what they do and what they had to put up with. They had to put up with Texas drivers. So, and then you've got American Airlines headquarters is here in Texas as well. American Airlines employs over 102,000 people. Another great reason to live in Texas is we do not have a state income tax. So just one less thing that you're taxed on. Now, I know what you're going to say. Yeah, but you have property tax. Yes, we do have property tax, and that property tax is percentage-wise is higher than a lot of other states, partly because we don't have a state income tax. So one thing that's really cool though about our property tax is the way it's assessed just recently changed. Now when you file for homestead, which you can file for homestead on the house that you live in, on the assessment now they only used to take off $40,000 from that assessment. Now it's $100,000. So that is definitely going to save on taxes, and there are plenty of places to live in Texas with a lower tax rate. I have a listing right now here in North Texas where the tax rate is, I think, around 1.8%. There are going to be places where it's closer to 2.3, 2.5%. It just depends on what city you live in, where you live in. But there are places in Texas, and here where I live, specifically in the North Dallas area, that do have a lower property tax rate if that's a huge issue to you or for you. Okay, let's talk about affordable cost of living. Compared to other major states in the US, Texas has a more affordable cost of living, and that includes housing. You're always going to have places like Dallas, Austin, and Houston that have more expensive homes. Absolutely, the cost of living there is definitely higher than living in a suburb of those cities. But overall and in general, Texas compared to other big states, now we're not going to compare Texas to some of the other smaller states that just aren't as populated or aren't as popular, but according to other places like Florida and California, New York, Washington, other places, Texas does have a lot more affordable housing, which is why a lot of people are moving here. We have a lot of clients that reach out to us all the time looking to move to Texas, and that is one of the reasons that they want to move, because where they live currently, they can sell their house there for a pretty good amount and move here and get a house either for the same amount, but it's going to be a much bigger house, or they're going to spend a lot less and get a house that's comparable to the one they just left. I've got a client right now from California that I'm showing houses to, and I cannot believe he's going to sell his 1,000 square foot house in California, older home, for like $700,000. He's going to move here in a probably 1,600 square foot brand new home for under $400,000 here in North Texas. So that's a huge difference. So sell your house in California, come buy a house here to live in, and then come buy a house to own as an investment property. So big reason why people are moving to Texas, and it makes complete sense. Honestly, also, the Texas real estate market is getting more and more diverse. You know, used to, it seems like you would have to live in a big city like New York or Chicago or something to kind of get that really cool downtown feel with a condo, you know, or a townhouse or an apartment that you can buy. An apartment, you know, you say you own your apartment. Well, that's coming here. That's here in Texas as well. We don't just have single family homes or apartments, or, you know, you live out in the country on some land. There's a lot more urban living too that some people really like. I've done a video on why people are leaving Dallas, which is, you know, urban, in order to move to the suburban areas. But there are a lot of people who still prefer to open their front door and just walk to anything that they need. And there are a lot of cities in Texas that offer that. But not only that, here in Texas, you can live on 20 acres. You can live on 100 acres. I've sold 120 acres here in North Texas. So you won't believe how cheap it was either. But so Texas has just such a very diverse real estate market, a real estate landscape of how you can live. It's really just everyone's preference. And also budget is going to play a huge factor in where you live in Texas. Let's talk about the weather. A lot of people do move here because it is warm. Not everybody likes to be cold, y'all. So, you know, Texas is such a big state though. So when I say warmer climate, it's really also going to depend where. Are you living in the Panhandle where you're going to get snow, or are you living down in San Antonio? West Texas, East Texas, it's all going to be very different. And I love that about Texas. I'm here in North Texas and here in North Dallas. So we're going to get temperatures all the way up to 115, which is rare. It did happen a couple summers ago. That was bananas. But then also a couple winters ago, we got down to -2 and we stayed in the single digits for a week. It was not good. If you remember February 2021, the entire state of Texas was in a state of emergency because of the ice. That is extremely rare. But it does get hot in North Texas. So I know in Houston, the humidity is unbearable. It's hotter in San Antonio, but people do prefer a warmer climate. I could not imagine living in 6 months of winter. Couldn't do it. I absolutely can't do it. I don't think mentally I could do it. So I do not like the cold. I definitely prefer the heat, which is why I'm here in North Texas. I don't like it to be 115. I don't like it to be 105. But you know what? There's a big difference here between 105 and 95. And you can tell. So warmer climate is another reason why people move here. And don't let people tell you we don't have 4 seasons here in Texas. That is not true. Now, maybe if you live in South Texas, that's true. But here in North Texas, you're going to get all 4 seasons. It's going to be in the single digits here pretty soon at night. And it's going to stay that way for just a couple of days though. So yes, we have winter, especially in January and into February. We have a good spring in March and April and even into May, but it can start getting a little warm in May. And then of course you've got June, July, and August is like the dreaded month because everybody knows that August is typically the hottest month. But once we hit September, it starts to dry out a little. Temperatures seem to fall a little bit. And then we've got beautiful late September, October, November, even in December, we can have days that's 50, 60 degrees. So we do get all 4 seasons here. We just don't have 6 months of winter. Texas is also very culturally diverse. You don't have to go to New York to find the diversity here in Texas, especially in your big metropolitan cities. Like I said, I live near Dallas, so I'm just, going to be more partial to the North Dallas area. But I know in places like Plano, Arlington, Frisco, there's a lot of different restaurants. And so it's very diverse just in its food. We've got a lot of festivals here for all cultures. There's a lot of activities, community events, music, and things like that. So especially in the bigger cities, you're definitely going to find a lot of diversity and a lot of culture here in Texas. Texas also has a lot of highly rated schools. It is known for a lot of highly rated school districts. There are also a lot of colleges to choose from here in Texas, a lot of great colleges for your student to attend. So, if you live somewhere outside of Texas and your student is going to attend school here in Texas, one thing I always say is if you can do it to purchase a home where your student is going to school, let them rent the house along with their roommates, let them pay that mortgage for you, and now you've got an investment property. You do want to be careful though, because a lot of college campuses do require that if you're a freshman and sometimes even a freshman and a sophomore, you do have to live on campus unless you live at home. But I do think that is a great way, especially, I live in Denton, Texas. We've got University of North Texas and Texas Women's University here. So we have 60,000 college students here. So I can tell you that if you purchase a home, a rent home here, an investment home here in this city, you're going to have people to rent it out because we've got 60,000 students coming here every single year. So I just think it's a great investment to buy a home if you can as an investment property. So, your student lives in there and they bring on a couple of roommates, the mortgage is paid for. And then if they choose to stay, they stay. If not, then you have an investment property to rent, in the future, even when your student graduates. So education is another reason why Texas is a popular state, because there are a lot of very highly rated school districts and a lot of colleges to choose from here in Texas. Texas is known to be friendly to small businesses. It's known for its pro-business policies, low regulation, and government support. So that just makes it a very attractive place for entrepreneurs and business owners. Speaking of small businesses or just business in general, Texas does have several airports. Like a lot of other cities, there's airports in those places. But Dallas-Fort Worth specifically has a major international airport. Well, what that does when you've got an international airport in a place like Dallas, a very highly populated, popular place, is that brings in a lot of companies and corporations because of the international flights. So that is one reason why North Texas in particular is a very popular place, because a lot of businesses are choosing to move their corporations or headquarters to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And one of those reasons is because of the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. But when it does come to small businesses, Texas is known to be very pro small business and very friendly and accommodating to business owners. And if you are like me and you own your own business, then you know how important it is to have that support from your state and from your city as well. So when you're moving to Texas, you want to make sure that that city itself is, and you own a small business and you want to open a small business, you need to make sure that that city is very supportive of you, because running a small business is hard every single day and you definitely need that support. Okay, I'm not going to pretend that Texas is like the most beautiful state when it comes to its topography, its landscape, and things like that. I mean, you have places like California, oh my goodness, Northern California, the coast of California, Colorado mountains. We absolutely love hiking. It's one of our favorite things to do. We hike often when we vacation. I haven't been to Oregon. It is on my bucket list because it just looks like an absolutely beautiful place to be. And then you've got New England. So look, and then the Florida beaches. I'm not going to pretend that Texas is this amazing place as far as, the landscape goes. However, we do have a little bit of diversity here when it comes to our landscape. We do have the beach. It's not going to be like the Florida beach. It's not going to be like, the coast of California, but we do have beaches here in Texas. We've got plenty of hunting, fishing. Yes, you can even do some hiking and biking. There is a lot to do here in Texas. And one thing that makes that more doable or easy to do is because of the climate. Because we don't have 6 months of winter, you can be active outside and outside more often. So no, Texas is no California, it is no New England or Oregon, but we do have a pretty diverse landscape in this giant state. And last but not least, let's just talk about how friendly Texas is. Texas is really friendly, y'all. Like, we still say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir to people. We hold the door open for people. We have what's called Southern hospitality here in Texas. And what's so interesting, which I absolutely love, is not too long ago, I was showing some clients from California, and they had some small children with them. And we were looking at houses, and I just know that being with small children and looking at houses all day is really hard on the kiddos. It's hard on the parents too. So I made snack bags for all of them. And I went to hand the snack bags to the dad, and he's from California, or he lives in California. Actually, he's lived in Texas before, but they're from California. And he looked at me, he said, "Oh, that is so Texas of you." And I said, "Well, thank you very much." And then come to find out later on, his wife, who is from California, was just so surprised that people would hold the door open. They would hold the door open and literally wait for you to walk through. And I just find that kind of sad that that doesn't happen everywhere. Not just Texas, or not just the United States, but everywhere. Texas is just very friendly. My daughter was just in New York for 8 weeks on a mission trip, and she said, "Oh,
you do not hold the door open for people. They think you want something from them. You don't talk to a stranger in the grocery store."
And I just thought, well, how sad is that? So I talk to strangers in the grocery store. Hey, look, we're both looking for the same item. Let's, why not look together? But anyway, so Texas is very friendly. We have Southern hospitality here. It is a real thing. And we absolutely love that. So that is another reason why I think Texas is such a great state, and one of the reasons why people are actually moving to Texas, because it truly is becoming the most powerful state. It really is becoming the most powerful state in the United States. And also, you know what? I said last but not least, but we do have to talk about politics, because that is a huge reason why people are moving to Texas. Whether you agree with the politics or not, whether you are a conservative watching this video or whether you are a liberal watching this video, people are moving to Texas because overall, in general, Texas is a conservative state. and Texans just want to enjoy their freedom with as little government interference as possible. I know I do. I just want to live my life, have fun, do good, be kind to people, and, without a lot of regulation. And that's what a lot of people in Texas want to do, and they don't want that to change. So yes, a lot of people that are moving to Texas are moving so because it is a conservative state. There are cities in Texas that do lean more liberal. If that's you, there is a place for you here in Texas where you're around like-minded people. But in general, Texas is going to be a conservative state, and you're going to see that pretty much everywhere you go. If this is your first time to our channel, make sure you like, subscribe, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know everything there is to know about living in the North Texas area, specifically North Dallas. We have people just like you reaching out to us all the time, looking to make a move here. We absolutely love helping people discover North Texas, how wonderful it is, how many different cities there are to live in, and what each of them are like. If that's you, you're looking to move in 9 days or 9 months, please give us a call. You can shoot me a text or an email, either way. All that info is in the description below. I'd love to chat with you about what it's like to live here in North Texas. Make sure you go back and look at a lot of our other videos on cities here in North Texas, and we'll see you on the next one.